Hey everyone, it's Nerdy Sully, and welcome to my first TV review of The Mandalorian Season 1. For this TV review, I did review each episode just as an outline, but this review is a summarization of my experience watching the first season. However, I might be referencing specific episodes, so mild spoiler warning. Also, as a forewarning, my scores were around 60 to 75 out of 100 for various episodes, so there's that. The Mandalorian follows a said Mandalorian bounty hunter and his adventures that take place very shortly after the end of the Empire Strikes Back, so after the fall of the Empire. The Empire is still around, just in various places, and serves as an enemy to Mando later in the season. I have seen a preview of this show, and it was from Episode 1, which, to be honest, was not the best intro and most impressive of the show. The first 2/3 was a bunch of walking and basic nods to let you know that it's Star Wars, two types of droids and alien species. And speaking of alien species, we are going to talk about that scene with the spoiler potato creature mount Mando learns to ride. Sure, that creature is used to influence the base sneakily and at the end, but if that level of awkwardness is compared to that scene where Padme and Anakin are trying to learn to ride those potato creatures on Naboo in Episode 2, it's a bad taste. The only good third of that episode is the last third, where Mando meets and joins the IG unit trying to infiltrate that base, in which I like the dynamic between them. Just like the preview and first episode of the series, the rest of the series was a hit or miss for me. The next standout episode is unfortunately Episode 4. Yes, it took 2 more episodes for me to be like, okay, I like this. What was wrong with 2 and 3 is 2 is more like a sitcom with some Mando and Jawa lore, and 3 continued the arc as Mando repaired the ship and escaped the bounty hunters a la Deus Ex Machina. Episode 4 was a standout because I liked the somewhat lighthearted tone, the dynamic between Mando and Cara Dune. It had a Clone Wars sort of episode feel to it, with a foreigner defending the town from greeted natives. And then we go back to missing until Episode 8. Episode 5 brought us back to Tatooine, to what seemed like a pointless fan service episode, was set up similar to Mos Eisley Cantina and A New Hope, but some new characters, let's say, didn't last. Unless this episode was intended to show how Mando learned to watch and care for things, it wasn't interesting, wasn't engaging, it wasn't that entertaining. Episode 6 introduced us to some new characters who may or may not last, but as we've seen and heard from previous episode, Mando outsmarts again. Was a typical tale of revenge, with not a lot of character standouts except apparently Bill freaking Burr. And it's pretty obvious that Mando has outsmarted these characters, and most likely that we'll never see them again. Episode 7, however, was set up for Episode 8 with reintroductions of characters and powers, and was a bit more interesting than the last episode and what was first revealed in the episode, not to spoil. A new villain was revealed, but he didn't stand out. His entrance was a typical Star Wars villain entrance, with a stormtrooper armada to I Know Who You Are. To me, it had many parallels to Krennic in Rogue One, tied up with the appearance of Dark Troopers. Episode 8 was one of the better episodes because it flowed together well, had amusing Scout Trooper banner, better humor, and more, if not short, Mando IG unit dynamics. The new villain is nothing special as of yet, and of course he has a better shot than his troopers, just to show us that he means business. Overall, The Mandalorian Season 1 was a hit or miss for me, with the standout episodes being Episode 4 and 8. Gee, only 2 episodes out of an 8-episode series, only 2 stand out? Unfortunately, yes. And since I've already rated all the episodes, I can generalize and average a score. I'm passing on The Mandalorian Season 1 with a score of a 65 out of 100. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to check out a recommended video or playlist, a card will appear now. If you want to check out more of my channel, click on my page below, and if it comes down to it, you can always subscribe. The only good third of that episode is the last third, where Mando meets and joins the IG unit, which... Fuck. Episode 4 was... Oh my... Yeah.